Well, depending on the vice, you could choose heroin. They'll build you a safe place to go and do it. Right? Now you can overdose on that, and you can take up hospital resources just like any other thing that carries risk. Right? So this sort of nonsensical thing, it seemed to me to be a deliberate thing and something that I wouldn't have no part in enforcing. I was not going to work for an organisation that was going to have any part of enforcing a two-tiered society. I just would not do it.
Yeah, good for you.
So resigning gave me the opportunity to speak because, and because internally, yes, you can speak, but if you do, you're pretty much cooked.
Yeah.
Right. So I was going to come out and do these sorts of things that we're doing here now with these two gentlemen, right? Because it raises awareness, and it's something we can talk about. Now, if I can just take up 1 minute at a time.
I'm in no hurry. Take as many minutes as you need.
So part of what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to reach as many people as I can to try to bridge the divide that's been caused by these sorts of the narrative that's coming out of both the government and the media that are trying to blame all this one class of people. All the problems of everybody else is because of this one class of people. So hate them and loathe them and bully them into try to, comply, which is just, it's horrible to see. But I've also trying to reach as many police officers as I can to make them realise that it is okay to speak up and at least talk to each other about how you're feeling about these sorts of things. And maybe be a union of your own, since your own union won't represent you.
Red Union. Look up the Red Union.
Red Union's a good alternative. They actually do represent what the members say and don't try to tell the members what to think, which is what the association is doing, kind of the opposite of what a union does. Anyway, so things like so the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Force, right? They've recently released an open letter to their commissioner, like Alex Cooney did there in New South Wales. Right? Now, that's the National Police Force of Canada. And they've released a letter that pretty much outlines all the reasons why what's going on doesn't make any sense, why it reeks of another agenda because it doesn't make sense. And it finished with a call to action. And I'd like to read what that call to action is, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
And so it says, Commissioner Lucky. It's an interesting name, though. That's the commissioner over there in Canada. We ask that you represent the best image of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police by remaining loyal to the Charter of the Bill of Rights and not to any particular public figure. Our job as Mounties is to preserve the peace. If we continue down this road of segregation and discrimination, we risk repeating past mistakes. The divide in our society is quickly leaning toward a level of national security. We ask that you open an investigation to ensure no criminal acts were committed in the dissemination of information from federal and provincial health authorities or public figures in positions of trust. We ask that you send investigators to collect statements from medical professionals and other reliable witnesses who allege that they have been silenced, putting lives at risk. Allow us to make this information publicly available to all so that the public can scrutinise it and achieve informed consent. As Canada's National Police Force, we are unique in our ability to conduct a large-scale cross-country investigation, which must be transparent to regain trust in the government. We also ask that you challenge the federal government's decision to send Mounties home without pay for decisions that they have made on beliefs protected by Canadian laws. Neither the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Force nor the communities they serve can endure the loss of experienced police officers. We await your response and your plan of action. Now, that's the sort of thing that I would expect any police force to do, to be and demand that they remain protectors of the people, protectors of the people's rights, and not loyal to any political figure. To demand an investigation where credible evidence exists that there has been some wrongdoing and some mistruths, some silencing of people, especially doctors, of all people. Right? And if there's evidence of malfeasance there that is actually causing harm to people, that needs to be investigated as a crime. And if we are the investigative body, it's incumbent on us, which is why we need to be separate. And so I would encourage my former colleagues to think about those sorts of statements and where they fit and find that line, like Roland said, find that line in the sand that they won't cross and start to realise what their role is in society.
Yeah.
And it's not to follow blindly. It's to think critically about what is right and what is wrong. And so I just thought that was an amazing thing. Now, that's supported currently. It's not 100 police officers saying that or 200 or 1,000. It's 55,000 are behind that action.
Wow.
Now, can you imagine the catalyst for change that would bring if the Victorian police members started to think like that?
I don't think there aren't 55,000 Victorian police. I think it's 12,000 or something, isn't it?
That's the Canadian, the Mounties.
No. I understand, but I'm just thinking, like, if we could get even 5,000 Victorian police to actually throw their weight behind something like that, would be a huge game changer. Police command would be looking at that, going, "Oh, we're going to have a problem here if we don't actually start to pay attention."
Well, yeah. Well, if my assessment would be correct, if it was an average of what the percentage of people that I worked with that didn't really believe what they were enforcing was fair and right.
Yeah.
If that was true across every station and they're only going along with it because they're just following the orders, I think you would find it would be well over half of the police force certainly weren't behind what was going on.